Hi guys, thanks for joining me. We have an amazing full moon coming up on the 18th of August, and I recently made a video on the new moon in Leo, which happened on the 2nd of August. So the full moon is the time when we reap the rewards of all the work put in during the new moon. So I just thought I'm not going to tell you about all the work you have to do without telling you about the rewards. So here we go. Some information about the full moon in Aquarius. Now, as I said a moment ago, the moon does go through certain phases of its monthly cycle, and the new moon is when it's totally black, and that is a good time to plant new seeds or to set new intentions that you're going to complete during the monthly moon cycle. Then the moon moves on, it waxes, it becomes a crescent moon where you can just see a tiny little sliver. Then it becomes the first quarter moon where it squares the sun and it's a bigger crescent, and then it becomes the waxing gibbous moon when it's almost full. Okay, so it goes through this cycle, and especially when it's building up and waxing this way, the seeds that you planted during the new moon are starting to take root and they're starting to grow. As it gets bigger and bigger, those plants get stronger and become bigger, and when the full moon hits, then those seeds, they blossom, they come to fruition, they open up, and they reach their point of fulfillment, culmination. Okay, so after the moon, it then wanes, it gets weaker and moves towards the new moon. It doesn't mean everything's over yet, but this is the peak of the cycle, and anything that comes after the full moon gains in maturity and becomes more meaningful and more in-depth. But in terms of life and expansion and growth, really this full moon is it. There's another way of looking at this. You can also look at the moon as the goddess, and during the new moon she goes inward, she turns her face away from us, and she's really looking at what she's intending for the next cycle. And the sign the new moon is in, that is indicative of what she is focusing on, what the theme is, what the content is. So on the 2nd of August, there was a new moon in Leo, so she was thinking about deciding how she can give life to her passions, how she can be more aligned with her life purpose. If you think of the full moon, that is the goddess really just showing us her full face, being super, super present, showering us with her expansive, positive, energetic light, showing us what is going on, being at her full power, being at her most lively, at her most generous, optimistic, enthusiastic, and alive. Okay, so those are the ways to see the new moon cycle and full moon cycle. And this full moon in particular, is going to be in Aquarius. Okay, so like I said, the new moon, whatever sign that's in, that is the content of the seeds you're planting. And the full moon, the sign that is in, is going to be the quality, the energy of this celebration moment, of this moment of coming to fruition. Okay, so you will have noticed as August has progressed that your work in connection with your passions and your desires has become stronger and stronger and has developed. And this full moon in Aquarius will bring this moment of completion and reaping the rewards of what you've sown. But not only that, your passions coming to life with this full moon in Aquarius, you will also be shown how your passions, when you live them, when you engage with them, when you perform them, how they can be of service to humanity. Aquarius is about being a humanitarian, being of service, giving of yourself and looking at the greater good. So these passions now coming to life, there will be an added depth, there'll be an added element of, for instance, if I follow my life purpose of painting and I create great art, then I can help other people change their perspective because I'm giving them something unique and new and wonderful to look at. If my purpose is to have more passion and romance in this relationship and to really make that a good, positive connection, then the fruition of that, the culmination point is, yes, you're going to be happier in that relationship, you will feel more passionate and alive, but so will the other person in the relationship. They'll be closer to you. So it's really about, it's a nice month here in August where we had the new moon in Leo, passion, and the self and courage and warmth and fire. And now the full moon in Aquarius, it's about the greater good, and it's moving away from the self, and it's becoming totally alive and fired up within, but then taking that fire when it comes to fruition, and rather than holding on to it for yourself and saying mine, 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 you're giving it away freely and you're doing it for the greater good. So this is a beautiful month of aliveness and coming together with other people during the moment when your life force and your energy is at its peak. So it is really a wonderful time where people can connect and come together and really live their own passions and desires, but connect with other people and enjoy what they're doing and seeing them be alive and passionate. Now, the full moon as well, I've printed out the chart here. This is what it looks like. So we've got the full moon over there in Aquarius at 25 degrees and the sun over there. Always 180 degrees apart. That's why the full moon is so round and bright, because the sun shines fully onto it. And the moon forms certain relationships with other heavenly bodies, and that kind of adds even more depth to this. So first of all, the fact that it's at 25 degrees, 2 and 5 is 7 in numerology. And 7 is about mind and creativity, okay? So this is what's made you feel alive, life purpose, what I'm creative about, and then giving that to other people. So that deepens that element even more. The fact that the sun is in Leo and shining onto that Aquarius moon is really, that is the encapsulation of all of this energy. The inner fire shining on the moon, reflecting it and becoming more outward towards humanity and interested in the greater good. The moon also forms a sesqui square, so it's 135 degrees away from the rising sign in Libra. So another nice element to this, which I've already mentioned, is that it really brings people together, and it is a beautiful full moon in which you can build positive, harmonious relationships with other people. So it's a time of coming together. So maybe even plan a celebration or an event during this full moon. You will build stronger bonds with people, you will become closer, you will become more of a unit. We also have a quincunx here, 150 degrees apart, with Mercury and Jupiter in Virgo in the 12th house. And it's mainly Jupiter. Okay, so this full moon and the humanitarian inspirations that you get, it may be a good idea to communicate those in a practical sense, and even to take practical action on them while Jupiter is still in Virgo. It goes into Libra on the 9th of September. So while we've still got this Virgo earthy Jupiter, it's a really good time to make decisions. This is also 25 degrees, so interesting. 2 and 5 being 7, mind and creativity. So it's a great time to make decisions and to put practical actions into things that you have decided about and committed to. The other thing that it does is it forms a sextile with Uranus in the 7th house. And this is interesting because Uranus in Aries is about the self, doing things differently, and being somewhat of a rebel. Okay? So you are thinking for the greater good. You may think that that's somewhat contradictory. How can I think about the self and be rebellious when I'm helping the greater good? But it's exactly that. Sometimes you have to do things independently, off your own back, in your own way of doing things, to help other people. And that's creativity in itself. So you have been creative here, and by putting those things out there, that's how you've been able to help others. During this full moon, don't be afraid to think along the lines of, how can I do things in my personal way that no one else has ever done it? Or just because it has been done that way, why does it have to be repeated? I want to do it this way. Okay? So if you have those kind of ideas and thoughts and messages, don't dismiss them. They can lead to real opportunity and to really you being of service and helping other people in your own stylish, unique way. And that's really what this is all about. How can you, with your gifts and talents, add something to the greater good and be of service and be supportive? And that's it. So I hope you have a wonderful full moon. If you guys like these new moon and monthly, these new moon and full moon forecasts. I'll keep doing this because it adds a nice new dimension to the month, and it kind of looks at the month in terms of what we're trying to achieve and how our efforts really pay off and how we are really reaping the rewards of all of our hard work. So I think it's a really nice little take on that. So let me know what you think. If you would like a private reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab and you can order your reading with me there. Please remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I do live readings on Facebook. It's facebook.com/GregoryScott444. Have a wonderful full moon, and I'll speak to you soon.